How many times do we get upset when we hear lies and the propaganda that echoes through social media about Israel and Israel's policies vis-a-vis the Palestinians? However upset we are, we must never keep quiet. We should always make our voices heard, which is exactly what I would like to do today. One of the prominent voices that echoes lies about Israel today on social media and beyond is Congresswoman RASHIDA TLAIB. This time, she chose to tweet as follows. Children in Gaza are being woken by bombs in the middle of the night. Israel's government does not value Palestinian lives. It has managed decades-long ethnic cleansing project funded by the US. Naturally, the first thing that's missing from RASHIDA TLAIB's description is context. Indeed, Gazans are suffering, but they're suffering not because of Israel. They're suffering because of Hamas. On the very same day she tweets, Hamas chose to launch dozens of incendiary balloons against the south of Israel. These balloons have got nothing to do with joy. They are meant to cause severe environmental damage in what is termed correctly as environmental and agricultural acts of terror. The smoke in the area and the damage caused will take years to overcome. As a result, Israel retaliated. But you're not going to find any of that in RASHIDA TLAIB's public responses, tweets, or social media posts, because she's very focused on her mission. Mission that is also detailed in the very words she chose. She tells you that the Israeli government does not care for Palestinian lives. Think about how general the claim is. That's meant to delegitimize and dehumanize the state of Israel. Not dissimilar from the truck that was moving up and down Fifth Avenue in New York that told you that Israelis kill Palestinian children. All of these claims are meant to create a certain image of Israelis in your mind that allows you, in the back of your mind, to be done with Israelis, to convince you that they are nothing short of sheer evil, and therefore, whatever fate they have, they deserve it. Now let's talk about words for a minute, because we gathered here today to discuss her major claim that she repeatedly claims about ethnic cleansing. Now it's important to address this claim, not just call it another lie of propaganda, but let's make it into a teachable moment. Let's look into the definition of what ethnic cleansing is. So, ethnic cleansing is defined as follows. A purposeful policy designed by one ethnic or religious group to remove by violent and terror-inspiring means the civilian population of another ethnic or religious group from certain geographic areas. So it's already clear that what's happening in Israel between Israel and the Palestinians couldn't be farther from ethnic cleansing. Quite to the contrary. Ethnic cleansing indicates a reduction in the number of people who live in those areas. And yet, the data shown is clear. The number of Palestinians has only increased over the years since the re-establishment of the Jewish state of Israel in 1948 to this very day. Quite to the contrary, actually. Ethnic cleansing was a policy that was enacted against the Jewish people. Indeed, the Arabs, when attacking Israel during the War of Independence, made sure that every place that they took over and conquered, the Jews were banished from and their homes were destroyed. In addition, almost 1 million Jews who escaped from various Arab countries in the Middle East, making their way to Israel because of the threat posed against them after the re-establishment of Israel, they were ethnically cleansed. Their property was taken by the Arab countries and they were banished from their homes. So ethnic cleansing? Yes, but not against the Palestinians, against the Jews, Ms. RASHIDA TLAIB. But you're no stranger to making allegations which are completely baseless against Israel and the Jewish people. It wasn't too long ago, actually last year, when a Palestinian boy drowned during a rainy season in Jerusalem. You were very quick to use again the same social media platform that you use to accuse Israel of harming the boy, of kidnapping the boy, and God forbids doing something terrible to the boy. And later on, when it was discovered that what happened was that the boy drowned to death in a terrible, tragic incident, all you did was remove a tweet. But you know how wrong that is. You know how terrible what you do is, because words have meaning. Words have weight. Words carry significance beyond your social media accounts. When a Jewish boy is punched on Melrose in Los Angeles because he is visibly Jewish. When a Jewish man is attacked in Times Square because he is visibly Jewish, this is done as a result of deep and sheer incitement that you are promulgating on your social media accounts. Because, Rashida, you know the truth. You know that none of it is true. You know that it's all a lie. But there are people out there, from the millions who follow you, who do not know, who really may think that Israel is conducting ethnic cleansing, that Israel is sheer evil, and that Jews deserve to be punished because they all support Israel. For Israel and the Jews are one and the same. And here is the problem, Rashida. Removing a tweet is not enough, because again, words have meaning. They translate into acts and actions of violence on the ground. It's because of that hatred that you continue to foment using your social media outlets. And when you blame Israel for harming a Palestinian boy, it is nothing short of a blood libel. Here is another term for you: blood libel. Blood libel is an age-old accusation against Jews, baseless accusation. The Jews use the blood of innocent Christian children to bake matzahs. Blood libel cost so many Jewish lives across the generations. These foundationless, baseless accusations against Jews, baseless accusations that result in actual hate and violence on the ground. RASHIDA TLAIB, stop spreading hate. RASHIDA TLAIB, stop being an engine for hate. You really care about the Palestinian people? Remove Hamas from power. Use your power to free Gaza from Hamas. Work not against Israel, but with the peace-loving Israel and the Israeli people to bring peace to the Middle East. That, RASHIDA TLAIB, will guarantee Palestinian and Israeli prosperity, not the hate that you support and that you promulgate using your social media outlets. Enough is enough, because people are suffering as a result.